What's up, everybody? We are live, ready to go once again with another stream of Building Stuff with Nova. Super happy to have everybody here. We are live right now, not only on our home turf of Twitch, but we are also live for the second time this week on YouTube. Y'all let me know how you doing. Give me a drop, a hey, an exclamation point in the chat. I want to know not only how you're doing, but I want to know just who's with us. This is your virtual makerspace, your ideation laboratory, your mastermind, a place where we all hang out together. I'm your host, Dr. Nehemiah Mabry. As I've shared with you time and time again, you can call me Dr. Nee. I'm your companion. I'm your partner. I'm your friend. We're just doing this together. Sometimes the mentor, sometimes the mentee. Sometimes we're just both trying to figure it out together. And today, as we bring up our agenda, we have a pretty straightforward agenda. And that is, as you already see in the title of today's stream, it is indeed another virtual field trip of the undisclosed location that Trapology Boston is working to build our in real life escape room. We're going to go to them in just a little bit, but let me see who's in the chat. What up, Outbound? We see you. Nova is here as always. Cannot have a stream without Nova hanging out with us. I see that Opal guy. Thank you so much for always hanging out with us. Kajal's here. Man, let me know how y'all doing. Cena, we got a new person. Hello from Stockholm, Sweden, over on YouTube. Super happy to have you all. Now, let me tell you something really quick. We are going to be dropping a survey. We have been doing this for the last couple of days, dropping a survey in our chat. You can see it on Twitch. You will see it from time to time on YouTube as well. And we want to get an idea of just how you've been enjoying this informal live stream engineering education that's been taking place. So throughout the stream, I'll remind you, you'll see the bot every now and then on Twitch, and you will also see it on YouTube. And so we wanted you to take a moment, if you haven't already, to give us some feedback, because this is a research project supported by the National Science Foundation, and we want to continue to have insightful programming like this coming to you from Nova and all the other partners. So if that's cool, please take a moment to do that. Welcome again, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and jump to our guests and our friends over in Boston right now. I'm going to come over to them and see if Mike and Tina are ready to get going today. Mike, Tina, can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me?
We've never been more ready in our lives.
You've never been more ready in your life. Hey, can y'all hear Mike and Tina? Let me know if you can hear Mike and Tina. You can hear us all well. If anybody needs to come down, I don't know if I'm like blaring you all's eardrums right now, Mike and Tina, but we got a lot of enthusiasm because we love getting check-ins and updates. If the volume is good, chat, let me know in the chat if this is good. I'm going to go ahead and set up my green screen to kind of overlay myself a little bit, but let me know how y'all doing. How's things been since we last hung out? How's it been?
We've been really good. We've been very busy. I don't know if you can see in the background, but some big things are happening back there.
Big things.
There's some lighting and stuff going up. We're doing a lot of building over here and getting all of the props ready.
Mm-hmm.
I just stared at that light. That is so bright. That's one of the lights that's going to be going into our little like rib columns.
That one that's standing light right there on that underneath in the middle. Okay.
Yeah.
And it looks like a lightsaber right now. Is that Jason holding it? It really looks like a lightsaber from my vantage point.
Yes, it does look like a lightsaber. Jason is back there doing what he can. Have we tried to have lightsaber fights? Maybe. But
I've tried, succeeded.
We could maybe do that in future escape rooms. But you all give some love to Tina and Mike again. Drop some love in the chat if you happen to see them again, as I always am. Alyssa, good to see you. DeWitt, seeking to continue on. We got the Opal guy. Obviously, the room is looking good. They're saying, y'all, the room is looking very, very good. I didn't realize. I think we got a wider shot this time too. Like I didn't realize how wide it is. I guess that's a column right behind you, Mike, that cannot be removed for the time being.
The good structural, strong.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. There you go. May the force be with you, Jason. Let them know. May the force be with them. Y'all show some love.
We appreciate you.
Indeed. We got some other guests over there. Some more cameras in the building. But okay, cool. Great progress. I'm loving it. Outbound. You see what they're doing outbound? They're making some work happen over there in the undisclosed location. We still don't know yet, but when I get up to Boston, maybe I'll get a chance. I don't know. Hopefully voluntarily to see where things are. Hopefully you all don't, put a bag over my head and then I just wake up there.
You beat me to it. Yeah.
Got you. All right, so cool. With that being said, chat, feel free to drop your questions. We're going to bring in you all anytime you have a question. But Mike, Tina, what do we have on the docket today to get our hands dirty with?
Your design.
Oh goodness. All right, so today we are going to be doing a little bit of actual prop construction.
Okay.
So we have some delightful little junction boxes here, a vast array of wires, buttons, and switches. And basically we're just going to be setting up one of our puzzles, or at least like laying out the buttons, making sure that everything works. Maybe doing some soldering, playing with some heat guns, all that fun stuff.
Soldering and heat guns. Okay. I love it. I see the soldering irons down there. Nova, if you could do me a favor, drop down just a little info on soldering and this is how this is relevant to obviously electrical circuits. Right, Mike? Yeah, we're doing it IRL. Actual, this is the most meta of meta escape rooms I've ever been a part of. We've been talking about engineering, going through the process of engineering. The puzzles are about engineering, and you all are doing engineering to make the puzzles about engineering within this entire project that's been about engineering. Hats off to you, Tina.
We're just two engineers sitting here. Don't look into our credentials.
Yeah.
I love it. So I hope y'all don't mind. I'm just going to hang out with y'all. We're going to all hang out here online. I'm going to hit play on my vibes here just to get some more nice grooves going. And you all feel free to kind of like highlight anything you pick up as you begin to work. Shout out to Papa Stem is in the house. Yep. That Opal guy asked me if I finished Spider-Man Miles Morales. No, I didn't finish it, but I did continue playing. I'll be honest with you. We're going to play again on Monday. Mike, Tina, I don't know if you all saw, but yesterday we did a little bit of Spider-Man gaming over here on the channel. You got to check it out. It was pretty fun.
I haven't dug into Miles Morales yet. Yes. I did love the first one. That was really good. I might have cried at the Aunt May scene, but if you played it, but it's fine. I'm okay with that.
Man, listen, Spider-Man has always had me in the chokehold. I have been just on an emotional roller coaster through all the years, and so Lisa, no, I'm not the only one that shed a tear or two.
It's a good one.
All right, so what we got? This is for the second day puzzle. Chat, this is for the second day puzzle, and you all feel free to get to work on it. I'm looking at it. Where do we want to be connecting, though? Like you say, you have this junction box here. You're going to be doing some soldering. What are the elements that are going to be connected? And, don't let me hold you up, but, like, I'm just wondering, like, what are we connecting exactly?
Yeah, so actually in practice, it's going to be fairly simple, which is just good for everyone involved. Basically, we're just going to be hooking up a bunch of these little switches that Tina is grabbing right now.
Okay, switches.
And for today, we're not going to be programming them, but we're essentially just going to be outlining everything, getting the holes drilled, putting them in, soldering the connections, and then making sure that our connections actually work by flipping on a light at the end. So this is kind of actually exactly what we do just for everything, like not even for this project, but for all of our stuff in our physical location too, is we'll just, as much as we can, try and assemble, wire, and then test it before we actually install it in the space. And sometimes that works out really well because you can kind of like troubleshoot before you actually run, hundreds of feet of wire.
Yeah.
But then sometimes
it doesn't.
Murphy's Law, like anything that can go wrong will. You put it together, you test it, it works beautifully, and then you go and install it. You take your time, you make sure everything looks nice, you run the wires, and then you go to do exactly what you did when it was not in a wall or in a prop, and you go, why is this not working?
Right, like it's the exact same thing. What happened?
Yeah, you're like, okay, now like did a wire get cut? What's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's one of those things. Like the more that you do it, the better you get at it. The quicker you realize what could go wrong, or you know, a little troubleshooting and all that fun stuff. So
I guess sometimes physics can be moody.
today we're gonna put this together and it's gonna work perfectly, and then we're gonna assemble it afterwards, and it's still gonna work perfectly, and we're not gonna look back at this footage and laugh at my naivete today. But I guess kind of jumping in, if you can see this right here. Actually, I have the same thing on a paper.
Yeah,
Apparently it's less glare.
Can't really see. It is pretty bright, but I'm looking close. Oh, this is the paper. Okay, so what's on this paper is what you sketched up on that laptop.
What we'd like to do before we start going crazy with drilling holes and everything, it's kind of that old adage of measure twice, cut once. But we try and lay out as much as possible. So on the paper is just a straight up diagram of this junction box that we have right here. So this is where we're going to be installing our switches and everything. And kind of the reason that we're going to junction boxes with this is, like, one, they're super easy to work with, which gives us a lot of flexibility with our designs and everything. It also lets us maintain and troubleshoot, because we can, once we've installed switches, just crack this bad boy open. Then we'll have access to all the wires poking out of the back.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes if we're designing them directly into a prop, you're usually doing like a weird claw motion with your hand and like crazy yoga poses. Because you try to design enough space behind some things, and then you inadvertently always miss something. So this is going to be really nice for us.
Open that again, because I saw a grid in there. Is that like a little grid in the back part of that box? Open that again. You see the wires go through.
I mean, typically these things aren't used for what we're going to be using them for. So this is actually for like mounting any hardware within it.
Okay.
We're probably going to that doesn't exist. But we're gonna be hogging a bunch of holes in here, and it's gonna be fun. What else?
That's really the start of it, and then once we start getting into the wiring and connecting, that's kind of where we're going to use the solder and the heat guns, where we'll shrink wrap the connections once we actually make them.
Yeah.
And that's always the fun part. Watching Mike solder.
Watching Mike. So you're not gonna solder, Tina? You're not gonna pick up the iron?
On camera, probably not the best place for me to try soldering. But I'm very good with the heat gun and sealing in the work. So it's one of those memes where it takes two of us to do one job, I think.
Don't tell our boss.
Yeah.
Hi, Jason.
I think the first thing we usually get started with is just kind of measuring things out, because we want things in a straight line.
Okay.
So the fun thing about these boxes is it's more of like a plastic feel, so we will really just take whiteboard markers and draw this out according to Mike's dimensions and measurements. So
yeah, so the nice thing that I did today was prepare incredibly well, and then forget to print it out. So there was a smart way to do this. We're not going to do that today. We're going to go old school.
Do the smart way. Who has time for the smart way? We're going to do it.
Honestly, that's one of my favorite things is, you know, like, you get better with something the more that you do it, obviously. Indeed. And we're always finding new and more efficient ways to do something better. So like for me, that's like, normally we'll outline something like this and we'll actually draw it to scale. So like in the actual document here, this is actually 288 millimeters long. These buttons are to scale. So what we could have done in an alternate universe is print this onto sticker paper, peel it off, slap it on here, and then we'd have nice little cross sections where we could just drill where those holes go.
Like last time, you mean the sticker paper from last time, basically? You all where it was like precisely.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got you. Y'all gotta watch that chat. Go back and check that out.
Today, we have a combination square. People that know how to read numbers, and like Tina said, some whiteboard markers. So yeah, like the nice thing about these things is they are a glossy plastic, so we can just
wipe it off,
wipe the marker on it, and then just take some alcohol wipes afterwards and erase it all off.
If only my daughter's skin was like that when they got a hold of my markers. I can just wipe it off. But Apparently, not all services are the same. Let me see. By the way,
appreciate them where they're at right now, right?
Of course, definitely will. By the way, Nova, I just want to remind Nova really quick. Hey, if you can, you all see the green space behind me. If you can, Nova, please drop the link to the survey. I don't know if I'm off on that, but if there's a link to the survey we should let everybody know about today, go ahead and drop that back in the chat so that people who are just not joining us for the first time, who haven't got a chance to tell us how things have been with their experience with this informal STEM education, can go ahead and fill out that survey. Thanks for the rundown, Mike. I think it's a lot of heat going on today. Let's just say that, because Tina said not the soldering, but she's going to have the heat gun. Mike's going to have the soldering, but first we must measure.
Always measure.
Yep. Kajal, I see you. No, the screen, it didn't rip, Kajal. It's just off center a little bit.
We don't eyeball, please.
It's just a little off center, Kajal. I was doing a little. By the way, shout out to Kajal. You all know Kajal if you all look back at the Minecraft streams. Our great intern, Nova intern, or co-op to be exact. I'm sorry, it's not the same thing. But I definitely are our team member here. Thank you, Nova, for dropping the survey. Yes. There you have a nice little description of what the survey is all about. Building Stuff with Nova is part of the NSF research project, exploring inclusive, approachable ways of communicating STEM concepts. Please tell about your experience. As you can see, being part of the community, our research team will analyze the information you provide to help us create more fun and engaging engineering content in the future. Don't you want more engineering content? I know that Opal guy does. I know Outbound does. I know for sure Papa STEM does. So thank you all. And thank you already for those who already filled it out, by the way. I want to say thank you to you all because I know you all have seen it. But if you haven't filled it out yet, this is a thank you in advance. Take a moment to go ahead and do that. Indeed. Good stuff. Papa STEM.
Some numbers.
How are you feeling today, Papa STEM? How are you feeling? What's for lunch? That Opal guy, what's for lunch? Alyssa, if you're there, let me know if you're sending Grubhub my way, and I will be happy to pick it up when they get here. Let me know what's going on.
Yeah, Mike and I will take a coffee too.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Hey, there you go. Y'all heard it. Alyssa, go ahead and send the coffee to Mike and Tina, but they don't have your address, right? Remember, you all are in some y'all are off the grid, so I don't know that Uber.
The address to the drop-off point.
Oh yeah.
If you could bring your own hood, like a bag to put over your head. We're really short on this.
I hear you're really short. I was about to say that food delivery person that'll probably be their last delivery if they make it all the way to the door.
Yeah, because they won't want to leave because there's so much fun here. That sounds more nefarious. Oh boy.
So what I do while I'm measuring things is I'm gonna start getting just little strands of wire ready. Because we're gonna connect a lot of these together. So I just do a little prep work. I always leave a little bit extra. The reason for that is if we start making errors and we need a little more wiggle room. I guess when, not if. So I'm just cutting some wires to get stuff ready, because this part actually takes a little bit longer. But that's what we like to do. Just making sure the stuff for the connections and everything, which we do solder after. So like these little points here, I think you see these, we're just gonna run the wires through them and Mike's gonna solder them. And then we're gonna take the heat tubes to seal them in.
So do you strip it? By the way, the nails are going crazy right now. Let's just go ahead and throw that out. But when you in a good, that's a compliment, guys, in a good way. But are you stripping like the like, is it a plastic coating on there that you strip off, or?
Yep, there's just a little protective coating that's over here. So once I get them cut, I'm gonna separate them and then I'm gonna strip it just with some bare wire showing.
Bare wire.
Got it. Okay, cool, nice. We gotta We got a poll, y'all. Chat. Y'all hope y'all see that. The question is 1 or 2. Have you marked the escape room finale on your calendar yet? 1 or 2. It is definitely on my calendar, so that would be a 1, of course. I know it's on Trapology's calendar, the finale.
Okay, what if it wasn't?
I thought we were going on vacation that week.
I mean, I am.
I know. Come on, Clockwork. We got to get you on there. Yes. Have we played, Clockwork says, have we played any of those old point-and-click adventure games? I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Point-and-click adventure games.
Off on Midnight Mansion.
It's not Midnight Mansion.
What's it called?
It's Maniac Mansion, which is a really old Nintendo game.
You point-and-click on that one?
Actually, it's an old LucasArts game.
Yeah. It's kind of like a point-and-click. It's a bunch of teenagers exploring an old mansion where there are aliens. But there's a lot of like escape room logic in it. It's as far as just kind of like you control a bunch of different characters and go through it. But that is one that I recommend if you can get an emulator and play that someday.
Nice. Love it. We got some other Myst, MYST, Seventh Guest. I don't know if y'all know these games. The Clockwork is dropping in the chat.
I actually just bought Seventh Guest, the VR like re-release for Oculus this week.
Did you?
I haven't played it yet. I'm excited for it.
I gotta check that out. Phantasmagoria. Man, see, a Clockwork, we should have had you on the team to let us know what games to line up for the stream, because we've been playing a number of games. Again, of course, we did Miles Morales yesterday. I'm gonna play that again, chat. If you didn't hear me say it already, I'm gonna play that again next week sometime. We're gonna line that back up. We have the dates for those who didn't mark it down. Sunday, October 27th through Wednesday, October 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern nightly. Tell your friends, tell your family, post it, email it out, and most of all, make sure you're there, because we need you. We need you. Sounds good, Opal guy. Breakfast. Breakfast sounds great. Omelet with chili. Oh, homemade tomato sauce, sour cream. Sounds like you got it from the restaurant. You made that at home, Opal. That sounds amazing.
Put some holes in it.
Sick.
Uh-oh, you got to drill out, Mike. You about to drill in?
Oh, it's happening. I'm just also kind of just spacing out for myself. Because originally we were thinking of doing just buttons for these, but we decided to switch over to switches recently. So I just want to make sure we have enough room with the actual spacing, which we have, which it feels like, sure, yeah.
Of course.
Dope. All right, so for drilling into plastic like this, where's that guy? We have this nice little like stepped conical drill bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Which are great because it does like a good starter hole, and then it will eventually, as you like drill down further and put more pressure in, and make it larger. And it just makes it a lot easier than like getting a small drill bit, drilling all these, changing it out, stepping up yourself. Just one and done.
And having the drill do it is always easier than trying to elbow grease it.
I am gonna do though. I say that. I am gonna grab this part a little bit.
Terra Blazer's in the building. What up, Terra Blazer? How you doing? You're here. Finally, you made it. Terra Blazer, I saw you hop on a stream. I want to say it was Wednesday when we were building testing the trebuchet. Did you catch that, Terra Blazer? I want to say I saw you at the end when we were trying to get our projectile to go in the forward motion. Shout out to Terra Blazer. Did you catch that one? Right now we're doing another building, and Mike is drilling these holes like they didn't get along. I don't know what's going on, but it's pretty quick. Boom. It's just like boom, boom. Terrablazer says, if they are selected, and really, I got a feeling a lot of people go to ask this question, will you have a back door for them so that, you know, they can kind of just escape if all else goes haywire? That's what Terrablazer said.
For safety reasons, yes.
Okay.
For gameplay reasons, no.
Right. So if the authorities come, yeah, of course, there's a backstory here all along. But when they're not there, you must solve the challenges, Terrablazer, or whoever else is selected, whoever is selected.
Did I just lose my drill bit? Yes. Did I find it? Also, yes.
Caught the tail end. That's dope. I caught it. Cool. You caught tail end, Terrablazer. Papa Stem got some fried battered mushrooms. I got a spot down the street from me that sells fried battered mushrooms, and they're delicious. And they do the whole like fried collard. They do all types of stuff like that down the street from me. As a matter of fact, when the stream's over, I might go get that just in case the food that was supposed to be sent to us by Elisa doesn't show up on time. What happened, Mike?
So there's this fun thing that I didn't mention with the step bit is that you can pretty easily go too big too quick.
Ooh.
And I definitely don't do that all of the time. But it looks like we are perfect.
Just right.
So we'll probably actually do it this, because these are designed, as you can kind of see, there's a lot of the thread switch sticking out. So what we'll probably do on the backside after this. Actually, I don't hate how that looks. It's kind of nice that it's proud. Anyway, what we might do later is just add like a spacer to the back. Just like more washers or whatever, just to sink that down a little bit lower so it looks a little bit cleaner.
You don't want it poking out that far, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but like when it comes to something like this, it's more of a stylistic choice than anything. I think that's part of like the artistry of escape rooms or any sort of like entertainment like that, is you kind of get to not use things for their intended purposes. It's like, this would be the proper way to do it. There we go.
It doesn't look right.
Yeah, it's like, well, we don't care about the proper way. So take that. All right.
It looks good, Mike. Y'all gotta show some love for Mike showing us again how that worked for that first little switch there. Don't go too big too quick on this one though, Mike. Or you know, you gotta be a little careful on that one. Or maybe you know what you did last time was just, if you could repeat the behavior, if you could program your behavior to do the exact same thing, then
I wish I could. I mean, there are some kind of like hacks. Like if you're doing like the nice ways, if you had like a drill press or something, if you've ever used one, you can kind of set the depth of it. So you have a repeatable one every time. You don't have that. I've got a hand drill with me today. Like the other thing we could do if we felt like being smart about it is just taking some painter's tape around like where we want to stop, so you can kind of see how close I actually
you can kind of eyeball exactly how far you go into the
So there's some kind of like hacky cheat ways to thank you so much. Make your life easier. But sometimes you get lazy and you're just like, it's fine, I got this, and then you mess up. Which is something we've never done before.
Right, we don't mess up on anything on this channel. Of course, right, chat? Of all the games you've seen me play, I've never messed up.
As we all know, the engineering process is you design it and it works perfectly the first time, and you never have to. It's actually, calling it a cycle is so wild. It's a straight line. You think about it, you design it, the first design works, and success.
Hey, don't miss. You don't miss. That Opal guy, oh man, your son made chili. Listen, I am avid chili maker as well, by the way. And anybody knows, and maybe I might need to figure some way to make some in Boston when I come up there and hang out with my friends. But chili, that is something that if you said, hey, you need to make a dish or you're never escaping this escape room. Like there's a puzzle that said you better make a dish that is amazing to eat, or that's the final puzzle. I would make a pot of my famous chili. That's what I would do, Opal Guy. So if Trapology ever makes something that requires cooking chili as the final puzzle, you might want to invite me on your team, or one of the Opal Guy's sons, because apparently we're both pretty good at it.
I was gonna say, it sounds like we need to like redesign the ending of this game now.
Yeah. Let's put a kitchen in one of the rooms.
Yeah.
We do have a fridge.
Yeah.
More heat. We need more heat. So heat gun, soldering iron, and gas stove. Have y'all done that before? Like, Tina, have y'all ever had like anything that had like gas or propane or some sort of like ignition of fire in it?
No.
Okay.
We typically stay away from any kind of fire or combustible. That is mostly an insurance issue. But if we could, we would.
Okay. Right. Safety first. Don't let me recommend.
Yeah.
Chat, do not try any of these. These are just ideas. Much like the ideas that Mike and I were just kind of spitballing weeks ago on this channel. If y'all haven't seen the fact that we actually have been going through an entire process. We were with Mike, and I had like, I don't know how many streams, Mike. We probably had about 5-6 design sessions, if not more, right? It was a lot.
Yeah, at least 5 or 6. Right?
Yeah. Ideation sessions. Y'all gotta go watch those VODs if you can on Twitch. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up, as they continue to work, I'm gonna pull up some of the ideation boards that we had. A clockwork. No chili secrets that I'm willing to give away online. But I was inspired by Cincinnati chili. I don't know if anybody's out there from Cincinnati. Anybody got any family in Cincinnati? Anybody like that you know connected to Cincinnati? You know, Cincinnati, their known dish is chili.
Is that like the whole like skyline out there?
Yeah, exactly.
I've never been myself, but yeah, all people I've ever met from Cincinnati, it's like that's the thing.
That's it.
Chili?
Yeah,
Skyline,
skyline diner at like 2 a.m.
And it's like with or without beans. So like the chili doesn't automatically come with
what?
beans.
That feels wrong.
It does, right? But like they have it. Like you can have it beans, or you can have like chili with no beans. Like if anybody is in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe Nova can fact check this. One of the hosts of GBH Morning Edition from Cincinnati. Oh, what were you gonna say, Mike?
I have a question. Is chili without beans just like tomato soup? But yeah, okay, no. Don't say no.
Right.
Jason's over there shaking his head at me. That's a legitimate question. It's a scientific inquiry.
You know what it is like, though? You know what it's like without beans? And this is my opinion. It's basically like hamburger helper or like some really thick spaghetti sauce. So you have the meat, you know what I'm saying? You have like the protein in it and everything, but it's just not beans. And Nova might have I don't know if this is scientifically fact checkable, but again, like the Cincinnati chili is definitely it. Kajo said, imagine someone going to the bathroom coming back.
Vegetarian chili, so without a bean, I don't know what I'm eating.
Right?
You talking about if you had some chili with no beans?
Yeah, I only eat vegetarian chili, so.
Oh, you said you do eat vegetarian chili?
Yeah, I don't eat meat, so.
Same here, actually. So
yeah,
I definitely.
need those beans.
You definitely gotta try some of my personal chili then, because I'm vegetarian and I make vegetarian chili with beans.
All right, it's on camera now. You said that you're making us chili, so
That's true.
And the deadline is Y3K. So to stick with the theme, the deadline of making the chili is Y3K. So in the next 1,000 years, at some point, you will have some of Dr. Nee's chili. That's right, Kajo. We are intense on this chili conversation. Papa Stem, bringing up hot dogs. Let me show y'all this real quick. I don't know if y'all can see this chat, but here is, check out this recap or this quick look, because what they are designing, y'all, is a puzzle that's going to go on episode 2, day 2. And what I'm showing you right now are just some of the ideation that Mike and I involved ourselves in through the many weeks. And I'm showing you particularly day 2, which is all about electrical and computer engineering. We talked about punch cards, circuit boards. We talked about a grid, trying to create resistors. Now, I don't know how much they're willing to give away, and I'm gonna go back to them in a second. But we don't want to spoil everything. But you all have been a part of the process. So anybody that's been a part of this ideation process that you all can see me showing on the screen, then you know indeed kind of where we're going with some of this. Binary code, ASCII. We obviously talked about switches to control on and off punch cards and everything. Switches, and I wonder if those switches, Mike, are related to or kin to in some way those switches that you're pushing through the holes right now for chat to see.
So this one is not.
Okay.
But I will say, like, the ASCII and binary conversation that we had when we were on that design ideation stream actually made its way into a heavy part of our episode 2 with programming and whatnot. So that was actually super interesting. Like, that conversation actually heavily impacted one large segment that I actually really I love every bit of this game. Every part of it's my favorite. But I do actually that particular part, it gets, I don't want to say like super escape roomy, but I think some of my favorite parts of escape rooms are like when something unexpected happens.
Yeah.
And it kind of, it's like a tonal shift. So we're doing that a little bit with that whole like ASCII binary, and I won't go into too much more detail on it.
Ooh, we got some.
But it's a super cool puzzle in a super cool portion of the game that I'm pretty pumped for.
So get ready, chat. Get ready. Sounds like there's going to be some unexpected twists and turns in this escape room. As a matter of fact, you all please tell your friends about it, because we want to get the word out about it as well, because it's going to be live for 4 nights in a row. As we said, you see it in the chat. Started on, Nova already dropped it earlier, October 27th, Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be the following, it's going to be 4 nights in a row at 6 p.m. Eastern. Again, mark your calendars for it and tell your friends. And you can tell them, as a matter of fact, when they watch it and you were a part of the ideation, you can say, hey, I was a part of this design. I helped Dr. Nee, Mike, Nova. I helped this come to be. And we just kind of stepped back and watched sort of the handling of the soldering iron. We didn't solder anything like Mike and Tina are doing, but our brain power is a part of what you see them doing. Will we get a nice credit roll, Nova, or Mike, like at the end of it, a nice credit roll with like the entire? It basically just should be the chat, like the chat from those streams that Mike and I did. Instead of credits, you can just roll the chat where everybody suggested something and give them proper credit. I don't know if there's a way, but we combined it, or Trapology rather, the gurus combined it.
I'm ready, Doctor.
All
right, so
thank you for that chilly fact check. Go ahead. What you got,
full
Mike?
disclosure, I haven't had to solder anything in a hot minute. So I think, just as a lesson for our audience, not everything has to be perfect. Beauty is on the inside. Don't avoid me. It's supposed to be supportive of the boss. Lord. It's about strong connections.
All right.
Those strong connections are always pretty.
Come on.
So, with that being said, don't judge my craftsmanship on this one. But if you've never soldered before, it's delightful. It's like welding light, but instead of like we're welding, you're melting the materials that you're using. Soldering, you're melting an intermediary material to connect to other metals. So there's a middleman, being this delightful silver bearing core solder. So we've got our solder, we've got our wire, we've got our soldering iron that Tina is holding. Thank you, Doctor. And we also have some flux paste. Someone in chat can fact check me. It's on flux based. This is actually really stuck.
Fact check on what? On what, Mike?
On flux based. Because I wish I knew the actual science behind it. I really should learn sometime. But if you've ever tried soldering without it, it is horrifying. Essentially, from my understanding, it acts as kind of a catalyst. It just helps your solder stick more to your wire.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that we're going to want to do here is get that little flux paste on there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really see it, but it's on there.
Flux
I
paste.
absolutely promise. And then the other thing, normally, so this is where my soldering knowledge gets a little janky. So normally what you're doing, if you're trying to solder two wires together, is you do something called tinning the tips. So we'll take a little solder, we'll take the soldering iron, and we'll melt it onto here, so that you just have a exposed wire with solder already coating on it.
Right.
And then you would take your two wires and then do like the final joining on there. For something like this, you know what? I can't wait to see someone's comment online. Just be like, do you even know what you're doing? And the answer is,
it's all
mostly.
good. We got Nova has our back right now, Mike. So it's all good. Nova has our back, dropping some gems about solder as a metal alloy. I never use flux paste. As a matter of fact, maybe that explains why I'm not good at soldering. Mine just turned into. I bet you this is gonna look better than last time I soldered. Let's see.
Wait, sorry, left side.
Left side.
Left one.
Add the iron. Metal is melting.
It's been a while since, obviously, I have done a switch like this. All right. Here, I want to do that. We're doing this live.
Yeah, it's live. No, it's all good. This is educator too. So, listen, it says that Kadra even point out, it's okay, Mike. Your audience aren't all STEM people, so we're looking from the outside. It looks cool and correct. Everyone's learning with you. Papa STEM even said. What we want to happen, as you said, though, is you want the solder to be heated in a way that it melts onto the end of that wire and attaches it. It basically combines that wire with that end terminal of the switch.
It would actually be easier. I don't know.
Gravity.
Gravity,
right?
We actually did it like that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm on your way.
I think we're good.
Shout out to Caitlin. Shout out to Caitlin in the background. We see Caitlin.
Well, your camera with the super hot iron. I think part of the reason that I've gotten super lazy with the soldering is a lot of the times we will use switches or wires that are actually pre-wired, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Do your thing. Heck yeah. All right, cool.
Is it attached?
And the nice thing about that is there's a lot easier quick connections that you can make with those. So we have a few of them here. These little Lego clips that they're really good for prototyping, because all that you have to do is strip the wire, put them in, and then flip the clip down. So if you're like trying to rearrange wires or put in new inputs or different outputs, it's a lot easier than to desolder something. But like I said, it's all about strong connections. You give it a little tug and it's there. And the best part is, here's my little secret. We have, before we started this, put a little shrink tube on there. And this is just another heat reactive element. So basically all you do is cover your terrible looking solder joint there, plug in a heat gun
In front of you.
that exists somewhere by my feet,
In front of you.
in front of me on this desk.
So now you're gonna make an even stronger connection by this reinforced sleeve or sheath. What is it called again? The white thing. What did you call it?
Shrink tubing.
Shrink tubing. Yeah, that's what I meant when I said it. Shrink tubing. When you heat it up with the heat gun,
A wire sheath
Sheath.
So I think
Yeah, that's what
these
I was trying to say.
ones
Sheath.
yeah.
It's the term I was thinking of.
So these are delightful. They come in a lot of different sizes, shapes, and whatnot, and also like shrinking ratio. So these ones are 3-to-1. So this thing is going to shrink down a third of its size, essentially.
Okay.
So outside of me semi-jokingly saying it's going to hide my shoddy craftsmanship here, it also covers the bare wire. So this is good. Not necessarily, going to do us too much of a favor with these terminals that are like stationary set from each other, because there's not really a risk that these are going to touch each other an arc or anything. But if you were to just solder 2 wires together, you don't want an exposed connection. You all understand why that's bad.
Of course.
So you could like electrical tape it, but electrical tape sometimes likes to human whatever fall off. So
smudge.
Shrink tube.
Yeah. Heat gun. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I was, when you said strong connections, I often think about how really the solder from looking at it didn't look that strong, but even you were able to tug it a little bit and it was straight. And so now putting this on top of it, I mean, it's pretty professional. This looks pretty. Y'all gotta show some love to Mike. It looked like something you ordered from a manufacturer and took it apart. Mike, that's a great job. Show some love. Terra Blazer, way to go.
That.
We got the emotes coming through. Drop some love.
See, and I were kind of even like joking before the stream, it's not much of a joke. I feel like a lot of escape rooms, like just immersive entertainment companies, like you learn while you go.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure we've all kind of figured out from like the design streams, and like as we go more into like actually assembling our set behind us, there's a lot of different elements, from like actual aesthetic design of things to gameplay and puzzle design to like people flow.
Yeah.
To the actual of like wiring electrical components, and no one goes to school for all of those things at once. So it's just like, yeah, we run into a thing where it's like, okay, we need to learn how to wire this up in a certain way. Let's sit down and figure it out. So a lot of the jack of all trades here.
Exactly.
All right. What's next, Doctor?
All right. For testing's sake, if you don't want to
if you want to
solder it, we can. But yeah, we can just make it a little base connection there. Put some power to these things. Flip it.
So we've tested the switch.
And now we get a light.
Bada bing, bada boom. It looks good.
Fired up that light switch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at us go. That's science.
That is what we'll do. We'll do it for the rest of them, and we'll wire them together in a way that it makes a sequence in a series, but we don't want to do that because that will be the answers.
It's going to make a sequence. So we're not going to show y'all the sequence, right? But you're saying that you're going to program. Is programming involved in creating this too, Mike? I heard somebody say something about program earlier.
Not so much for this one. This one's really just going to be an on-off. But just as far as, I guess, programming, it's going to be which ones we set into which position and how we wire them together and how it'll work.
Got you. So you got the lights, the switches. You're going to create a nice little combination. You obviously had the junction box. You drilled the holes. It's pretty neat. I mean, these are things that, chat, I don't know about you all. Like, I honestly didn't. When you get it whole and it's already done, you don't think about all the many pieces or the steps that were involved in creating it. So kudos you all. Let's see.
The wire spaghetti that exists behind everything in an escape room.
Exactly. Let's see. Clockwork said, are those both red? Were they both red? Did we see more than one light, or did we see? Oh, you're talking about the wires. Are you talking about the wires of Clockwork? Just want to make sure. Go ahead and ask your question again. We see black and red wires.
Yes. So the fun thing about when you're just using like this spool of wire here, it doesn't really matter which one. It's just the same. It's the same wire inside black and red one.
Yeah.
It does help when you need to make sure you're running like a positive and positive and negative and negative.
Right.
But this little shred of wire is the same exact as this shred of wire. You can use them for either one.
Got it.
And for testing purposes right now,
we use scraps.
We're using scraps. Organization is not the most important thing. When it comes to actually putting in wires for all of these, we're going to color code it.
Yeah.
Because one, professionalism at the end of the day, like, want to make sure that, and part of that isn't just like doing it correctly. It's like, if we need to go in and trace a wire, if something isn't going right at the end of the day, it's really helpful to go, okay, well, we know that that's, the positive wire going in, we know where that's going to, labeling all of our wires and everything. That is also like a mammoth task.
The temporary one is just using painter's tape right now, but we'll go in once this is done and fully label them with actual label maker.
Got you. All right, cool. You answered the question. That was perfect. A clockwork. Does that answer your question? So they're both, the layers are equivalent. It's not really color coordinated right now. They're using it to test, because the wire is a wire. And Mike, did you put the washer over those switches? Did you end up doing that?
I actually
the spacers,
did
or you just
not.
kept it as is?
I just kept them as is right now. I think we've got the actual prop coming over from our build shop, I think later on today.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our next step, is these are basically gonna be mounted on that. We're gonna drill holes through the back of this bad Larry going into that prop, mount it all up, and then kind of see how it feels, how it looks. Like, we do a lot of pre-visualization. I think showed like maybe 2 streams ago or whatever, of like, sketches and renderings of our props. But some things, like small details like that, it's like, we could draw sketches to feel, where we want switches to sit, but sometimes it's quicker and easier
just to go straight to it. Yeah,
just to wait until the thing is there and go, all right, yes, no, cool.
Yeah. That's craftsmanship for sure. That's definitely, because I feel like too, again, back to the engineering design process, there's a lot that you just can't anticipate. There's a lot of feel for it. And you were talking about earlier how you can't really go to school and even study all of this in one program. But I'll tell you what, if there was a major, it would be at the Trapology Institute. And Professors Tina and Mike would be
We're accepting tuition now. It starts at
a pot of chili.
A pot of chili. Hey, I can afford that. A vegetarian chili, Tina. I can afford that. Yes.
That's the important part.
That's the important part. Hey, by the way, I'm gonna say a shout out to Jason real quick too, y'all, because he has been making some of the coolest cameos this entire stream. Let him know that his cameos are high top notch quality, as he is over there working on the on the ladder. His cameos have been A1. There he is back there.
He's on the ladder right
Tell him we give him a shout out. We giving him a shout out for his cameo.
Just giving you a good shout out for all the cool background work you've been doing. We're actually not ragging on you.
Y'all say what up to Jason. Say what up to Jason. Yes. He has been working with the Force. You saw him with the lightsabers earlier. All right, Mike and Tina, I'm about to tell chat what we got coming up next week. But then I'm gonna come back to you all and ask you a little bit more clarification on this, how you see your next steps, right? Like, give us maybe what's coming up in the builds, because we only get to see y'all like once a week anyway. So I'm gonna tell them what's to come next week here in a second. Chat, I'm gonna let you all know, but then we're gonna come right back to you all, and you all can give us sort of like, then we're gonna do this and then we're gonna do that. Give us a nice little rundown of the next steps in the building process, even beyond some of the props. So right now, coming up, chat, let me let you all know, here's what we got next week, chat. Here's our program schedule for next week. So as I told you before, yesterday we were able to have a nice little stream with Dr. Samantha Blackman about storytelling and gaming. We played a pretty popular game, Spider-Man, but the Miles Morales version, which was really dope. I love the graphics and everything. We're gonna break that back out on Monday, an hour later than we normally come on live. So it's gonna be at 2 p.m. Eastern. So make note of that. Terra Blazer, if you can come hang out with us, Outbound, That Opal guy, I hope you're over on Twitch, because I don't know if we'll be on YouTube for that particular stream. But take a note of that 2 p.m. time on Monday. Then on Tuesday, we're going to come and link back up with Trapology, but we're going to do another virtual escape room. That has been our jam in between these virtual field trips. So having another virtual escape room on Tuesday is going to be a lot of fun. We've been successful solving the puzzles. We haven't always been successful doing it in the amount of time. So we're going to see if we get a better turnout or a better performance. Then on Wednesday, y'all, you don't want to miss this. We're going to be building a robotic arm. We have an industrial, or rather not industrial, but an automation engineer, Rich Gilliam, is going to be joining me on Wednesday. And we're going to have another building sort of hands-on stream. We're going to be building a robotic arm, talking about that field. And then on Thursday, you don't want to miss this either. We're going to be doing some chocolate welding, which I know about chocolate welding. So you saw the soldering that was taking place with Mike a little bit. We're going to be bringing out the chocolate on Thursday next week. Again, 1 p.m. Mark your calendars. I hope to see y'all there. And then Friday next week, we got a nice little week break, and they're going to give us a heads up of what we can expect to see ahead of that. But we're going to do another virtual field trip with Trapology there at that undisclosed location that Jason, Mike, Tina, and apparently some of the Nova team has been able to find their way to. So if that is dope, let me know in the chat if y'all excited about next week. Let me know. Nova, yes. Everybody say hello to Jason, by the way, just to let Jason know. People said what up. Hello Jason. Terrablazer, hello Jason. We heart Jason is what Nova has said. But I hope y'all are ready for next week. And now getting ready to come back over to my friends Mike and Tina. What can we expect to take place between this stream and the next stream that we have you all in real life, IRL?
I think we're going to be working on the generator.
Yeah.
The what?
We had talked about a generator.
Oh, generator. Okay.
Yeah. The AC generator.
Okay.
So we have a large AC generator prop that's going to be coming in. We're going to be wiring it up.
Ooh.
So we've got all of our puzzles and everything on paper and designed out. So now everything is kind of accelerating here. We're getting all of our props finished with paint and brought in. It's time to transfer those and do a lot more of this, buttons, switches, screens.
Strong connections.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more red and black wire in Tina Mike's future.
I love it. Well, you all handle with care all of the solder, all of the heat gun, all of the heat, and we will look forward to next time. You all drop some love as we get ready to say goodbye to them today. Let's thank them for their time over on Twitch, also on YouTube. Thank you all for hanging out with us in the chat as well. I hope you're getting excited as I am. I'm getting very, very excited for this finale that's taking place in a couple of weeks. So mark your calendars, as we said before. If you haven't taken a moment, please go ahead and fill out the survey so that we can learn more about your insights with our team of researchers. And as you've already seen, next week is going to be just as great as this week. So make sure you all stay tuned. Have a great weekend. And as Mike said, it's all about strong connections. So take some time to connect with your family, your friends, reconnect with some of the old information that we've discussed on this channel, just to continue to elevate and learn more. And most importantly, you all, as I always say, keep building, and we'll see you next time. Peace.